morning, everyone. I'm Megan Culp, along here with Scott Michlin.
Good morning, Megan Culp.
Good morning.
Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday.
Nice to see you.
It's Friday again.
Friday again. It happens every week. It's funny how that happens.
Funny how that happens.
Right?
And here I am with you every week.
I know. What a trooper.
What a trooper.
I gotta say.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming back in.
Yes.
We haven't changed the locks on you. You can still get in the
That's
building.
true.
So it's all good.
I'm surprised the college still lets me buzz in.
They do. Me too.
They haven't caught on yet.
Exactly. But
yeah.
but there you go. But welcome audiences. We are glad that you are here. This is our Solutions from the Street program, the program that airs on the second and fourth Fridays of the month, and we try to talk about a challenge in our community and look for a guest who represents a non-governmental solution to that challenge.
Yes. And today's challenges are varied. Because there's a lot of ways in which this organization helps their neighbor.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. So let's introduce our guest, shall we?
Yes.
We're happy to have with us here in the studio the Director of Catholic Charities here in San Juan County. Larry Palmer is here. Larry, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in. You were reminding us that your job is that you were a volunteer in this job, basically, right?
Yes, I'm a part-time volunteer.
And you've been doing this since 2018?
2018, that's right.
Got you. And so take us through a little bit of just a scene setter of Catholic Charities here in Farmington and San Juan County and all of the things that it does.
Okay, so we provide a number of different services in different areas. We have a morning meal program that runs Monday through Friday from 7 until 9:30, and people can come in and get a meal. During the winter, we serve a hot meal, and during the warmer months, we just hand out sandwiches and water and coffee and those types of things.
I see. And I guess that, pardon me for interrupting, but I'm probably going to do that. That complements, I think, what is being done at the noon hour then by Daily Bread, correct?
Right, that's
and that
right.
really works well, I think, for folks in that situation.
So it's a place where they can get breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
Right.
Very good. What else?
So we also have a food pantry. We give out food to families based on the family size. They can get a food box every 2 months. The food is provided by a number of different businesses, religious institutions, individuals, and so forth. We have a very broad group of organizations who help provide us with food. So they can come in and get that anytime during our office hours, which are 10:30 to 12:30, Tuesday through Friday.
Got it. Very good. What else?
And then in addition, we have an immigration service program. That is for people who need some kind of services related to their immigration status. We're talking about citizenship renewals, DACA renewals, translations, and so forth, applications for various kinds of services for people who are Hispanic and who are seeking those services. We have 2 people who speak fluent Spanish who help with that program.
And it's not necessarily legal services, or can it be, depending on the situation?
Yes, it really is.
Okay.
Our people are trained in an organization called Clinic, which stands for Catholic Legal Services.
Okay.
They have to have attended many hours of training in the legal system of immigration.
I see.
And so what we do is legally documentable, and they will be able to use that for legal purposes.
I see. Interesting. And I guess if there's maybe a need that you can't help with, you could maybe refer an individual to other resources in the community too?
And we do charge for that, but we charge way less than other people who provide that service.
Got you. Other services that you've mentioned are free, it sounds like to me, though,
yes,
right? Your food boxes and the free meal in the mornings.
All of that is free, right.
Gotcha.
And then we provide a lot of information and referral services. We refer people to numerous other agencies for various things. Sometimes we have done in the past provided money for rent and utilities, and we're not doing that right now, but we've received grants for those in the past. Right now there are other agencies which are doing that and have considerably more funding than we had, so we've kind of dropped that for now, but that's something that we have done in the past.
Got you. I imagine that's just something you can do when you have the money to do it.
Right.
If you don't have the money, you can't do it.
Exactly, right. And then our other primary service is we have a transitional housing unit. And let me explain what that is. That is for people who are homeless and have at least one dependent child between 0 and 18. And they have to meet a definition of homelessness that's provided to us by HUD, a rather complicated formula. And if they get into the program, they can stay up to 2 years. What we try to do is provide them with all the services they need to help them ultimately get into permanent housing. And that's why it's called transitional housing. So that's our objective, and we try to help them. And then they do not pay rent, but they pay a program fee that's based on their income, according to HUD guidelines again. And if they successfully complete the program, which means they get into HUD housing, then we give 25% of that money back to them to use as a down payment.
Oh, great. Very good. And so with that HUD housing, are they trying to purchase a home or just for rental assistance, or could it be used for anything?
They're looking to get into HUD rental assistance programs.
I gotcha. Okay.
None of these people would be in a position to purchase a home,
Gotcha.
especially in San Juan County.
Right. Well, that was my other question. So I hear
Right.
you, and that's an important distinction. But I imagine that can be a very life-changing assistance for these families.
Absolutely. And we have 4 units. 2 are 2 bedrooms. Then we have a 1 bedroom, and one of the 1 bedroom has a handicapped accessible shower. And we are almost always full.
I'm sure.
We have one person who's going to be moving out at the end of the month, and she is going to be going into she actually purchased a travel trailer, and so she's going to be going into that.
Okay. As her permanent residence,
permanent
I guess?
resident, that's right.
Okay.
So we'll be having a vacancy. What we do is we move the people in the 1 bedrooms into the 2 bedrooms when we have a vacancy, and so forth.
Sure. Very good. Megan Cullip, I haven't let you get a word in edgewise here,
know,
as usual, and I
typical.
apologize. I'm
Typical.
sorry.
So I'm interested. So this work can be taxing. So what drew you to do this work?
Well, it was kind of accidental. When I was working for the college, I was doing service learning at the college, and someone asked me if I would be on the board of Catholic Charities. They had an advisory board, and they wanted somebody from the college on that. So I agreed to be on the advisory board, and I was on that for a while until the Diocese of Gallup declared bankruptcy, and they laid off their director, and I was the only one left that could sign checks. So I agreed to stay on until they got somebody else, and guess what?
And guess what? You're somebody else.
They never got somebody else. So I've been there ever since, and it's to me it's very rewarding. It's very fulfilling. I had a 29-year career as a city manager, so I have a lot of relevant experience. And of course, this job is not quite as stressful as that one was, nor as stressful as working for San Juan College.
Oh, it's a piece of cake. What are you talking about? Very positive.
So that's kind of how I got into it in the first place.
Very good. And again, that was a few years ago, and so you're still there, and
Right.
you enjoy the work. The board
Right.
must enjoy having you do the work. The price is probably right because you're a
Yes.
great volunteer, and so it's a win-win for
Right.
all the folks
Right.
and the folks that you are helping day in, day out.
That's right.
That's an important part. So very, very good. And is there some things that you'd like to expand if you're able to do that? What are some of the
Well, our
Thoughts?
needs, we have obviously a need for food to give out in food boxes.
right?
And so that's one of our needs, although right now we are doing relatively well because there's so many people that are willing to help us. But we have a very old infrastructure. Our building is 1950s. Our transitional housing is now 15 years old, and things are starting to break down. We have been fortunate to get grants from different places. We've got a grant from the Marion Foundation. You may be familiar with them.
Of course.
They've given us grants several times, which we've used for infrastructure improvements. And we also recently got a grant from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Last year we got a grant for food. This year we actually got a grant for Drexel for infrastructure improvements.
Which is the transitional house, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
called Drexel House.
Yeah.
So that's been very helpful. And then there are other organizations who've helped us as well. But our biggest expense is we have 2 professionals who work with us. Louise Baca, who is the director or manager of Drexel House. In order to manage a program like that, you have to have somebody who has professional qualifications. She has a master's in the social work and works at McCormick School as a counselor. And then We have Juanita Madrid, who works for a local healthcare company, and she works for us part-time. She's our immigration specialist.
I see.
And so those people have, salaries that we have to pay. And then we have people that manage our drop-in center, and we have to pay those people as well. We're also fortunate that we've got involved in the New Mexico State training program for senior workers. And so we have 2 senior workers, including the person who's the director for San Juan County. So we got some good volunteer help as well. So that's kind of what our needs are.
Right. I was going to say the fact that other churches want to help in the mission and the work of Catholic Charities sounds to me like a nice thing, that they are seeing the work that you are doing, and instead of maybe doing their own similar programs, are supporting one that's already in existence.
Right. One of the great things about San Juan County is there's a tremendous amount of cooperation between churches and community organizations to try to meet the needs of people in San Juan County.
Right, and and Catholic Charities, again, while Catholic is in your name, when you are helping people, I mean, I think it doesn't matter who shows up.
We're completely non-denominational.
Yeah,
I suspect the majority of the people we serve are not Catholics, but we do get a lot of support from some of our local Catholic charities. St. Mary's, in particular, we have 2 of our board members that go there, and then we also have a board member from St. Joseph's in Aztec. So we get good support from the Catholic population as well.
Wonderful. Very good.
So I'm interested in, homelessness has many different faces, and I'm wondering if you can tell us a bit about what type of stories come across your door.
Okay, well, we obviously deal with a lot of homeless people. There have been some surveys that have been done that estimate that there are approximately 1,000 people in San Juan County that are relatively permanently homeless. And then we have a lot of people who are temporarily homeless for various reasons. Like some of our Drexel clients, several of them have come out of living in cars. Some of them have come out of domestic violence situations where they had to leave. And then, of course, we have a lot of people who are homeless because of substance abuse issues. And so it's really a diverse population. You can't just put one label on homelessness. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've noticed is, in many cases, a lot of the situations they're in result from making several bad decisions. Whether it's a bad marriage or a decision to make substance abuse part of their life, or criminal behavior, those types of things. A lot of those have contributed to them being in a homeless situation. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, there's not one solution that fits everything. It's a problem that has a lot of different solutions.
True. Very true. And I was going to ask you, too, it seems like with the program, is there a component about employment? Are you helping these folks maybe find some employment if they're able to? I guess if they're a single parent, that may be difficult.
Well, we can help them by referring them to other agencies, which
Okay.
of course we do, and we have connections with all of the local community service agencies.
Good.
So we do a lot of information and referral, sending people out to other places. And then another thing that we did that I didn't mention, if people can't get mail, we will allow them to use us as their mailbox temporarily. And so we have people who don't have a permanent address, and then their driver's license is stolen, or all these kinds of things that happen, and we allow them to use our address. And we have probably 100 or so people that are in that situation permanently and pick up their mail with us.
Gotcha. Interesting. I remember learning about that. I think it was a Leadership San Juan program about, folks who are homeless or in a poverty situation. Maybe they don't have an address, as you mentioned.
Right.
But then to sign up for all of these assistance programs, you need documentation.
Right.
And they don't have the documentation, and they can't get duplicates because they don't have an address, and it's just a vicious cycle. And so that probably helps in many, many ways.
Yeah, and we will provide them with that documentation. They bring in a form, and we'll certify that they have an address with us, and that we know them, and that kind of stuff. So we kind of help out with that kind of thing. And there used to be other agencies that used to allow people to send mail, and they've gone away for some reason or other. So we're one of the few that's left.
Very good. And I can't believe we haven't asked this question of you yet, but your offices are located
119 West Broadway.
That's right.
which is right across from the city parking lot on Broadway and right across from the Arc.
Right.
So that's where we are.
Got you. And so then that's where, and folks can come in when you're open, right? And you're open
Right.
those hours during certain days of the week, right?
Right, Tuesday through Friday, 10:30 to 12:30.
Got you. And find assistance like that. And so for the transitional housing, though, you mentioned that folks can stay there for up to 2 years.
2 years, right. And right now, we're probably going to have people staying longer than that because we understand that the HUD voucher program is temporarily on hold.
Oh,
And so you can't get a HUD voucher. What usually happens is as soon as they get in our program, they register with HUD, they go through the training, and then as soon as there's a vacancy, then they can get out. And sometimes it takes 6 months, and sometimes it takes 2 years. But now they're not going to be able to go, and I'm not up on exactly what's happened with that, but I do know that that's an issue right now.
but you're willing to keep them
Yeah,
where they are.
No, we're not going to kick them out.
Right.
We'll keep them until they find something. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's important. So very, very good. Excellent. Megan, any other thoughts about our guest?
So, and because it might be the Salvation Army, so I could be confused. But do you guys house street medicine?
No, that's actually housed on our property.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, not actually on our property, but close to our property, the back of our area, and they're there every Wednesday.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So
And for our viewers, Street
Yep.
Medicine is a program out of Shiprock where 2 physicians and a couple of nurses have a mobile clinic, and they set up with you guys and also go around to various places where people
yeah,
congregate.
and they were there this morning. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And they're
Right.
and they're looking for folks or asking folks if they're feeling okay or trying to do some health care in the street like this, right?
preventative, Yeah,
Right.
vaccinations, testings,
Right.
wound
Gotcha.
care, all of that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very important.
Those would be good people to get on your program. Let people know about it.
Yeah.
We are trying.
We are
Yes,
trying.
they are very
Yes.
shy. They're
Yes.
but
Oh, okay.
and there's a few pieces of paperwork I think or
Yes,
stuff that has to be
couple of
approved
hoops.
before they can
Couple of
come on the
hoops,
radio.
yeah.
But you're right. It's a great program, and they deserve the recognition. So I'm glad that we can at
Absolutely.
least talk about them today. But that's really, really important service, especially for the homeless population. Because again, what do you do if you're sick or you've got an illness or a problem or a wound or whatever? Besides
Yeah.
just going to the emergency room
Diabetes or any of these things.
some of these chronic conditions, right?
Yes, yeah.
So that's an important thing. And you
Yeah.
had some involvement with them too,
I
did you,
did.
for a while?
For about
as I recall.
Yeah, about 6 months, 7 months, something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
really important work. And again, Larry, I think as you said, there's a lot of cooperation here in San Juan County among these nonprofits, among these charities to really try to help the neediest among us. And I think that's nice to see, whether you're giving them a hot meal at breakfast or a place to stay if they're homeless until something else comes along. I think that's really important work that you are doing. You mentioned in the wintertime the meal is a hot meal.
Yes, we have a hot meal in the wintertime, and we allow 6 people at a time. We have tables. We have 6 people at a time to come in and eat, and then they leave, and then we have 6 more in. And we run about 50 a day, winter and summer,
Okay.
as
Wow.
far as number of meals that we serve.
Wow.
And I would say that if it's a hot meal and they can come in, that gives them a chance to warm up too, right?
Right,
if they
absolutely.
are out in the elements,
Absolutely.
so that's another benefit
Right.
that you're
absolutely.
providing to these folks. So that's
Yes.
great. Again, if folks are listening or watching us this morning and like to learn more about Catholic Charities, if somebody wants to give you a big fat check, what can they do? What would your advice be?
They can just contact us directly at our location. Our phone number is 505-325-3734. They can call us and leave a message, and we'll be in touch with them.
Okay, but I know it sounds like you would accept donations of food
Absolutely.
for your food pantry and
Right.
your food baskets and things like that.
Absolutely.
In addition
The
to
only criteria
cash.
for food is we don't take anything that's expired.
Sure, of course.
So
Right.
Makes sense.
That would-
Makes sense.
you would think that makes sense, but we do get.
You might be
people clean out their
surprised.
Pantry
Yeah.
from 2000, they've got stuff that they bring
Oof.
in. So
Gotcha.
We don't want that.
Right. Good to know. But you will accept the other stuff that can
Absolutely.
be kind of shelf stable and be able to give out to your folks. So
That's right.
That's great. Very good. Well, we really appreciate your time coming in today and talking with us.
Well, thank you, Scott and Megan. I appreciate the opportunity.
You bet. It's always great to hear about the work that these nonprofits do in our community. Catholic Charities being one of them. So Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great to have you here. Megan, another show, another solution.
Another solution, another show.
Right?
Well, the solution tomorrow is an antidote to possible boredom.
Really?
Well, yeah.
That solution?
Because it's a music show.
Oh, okay. All right. You're
So-
gonna talk about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Radio Free Saturday morning.
Oh, your music show.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. Okay,
The
now I get it.
eclectic-
Now I'm on it. Yeah, I
the
get you.
eclectic music mix where most genres and decades are represented. Each week I bring you a different theme, and then I coordinate a playlist within that theme. And tomorrow's theme is Young and Confused.
Young and confused.
Because that is a component of youth that we've all experienced, right?
I guess that's
Who
true.
am I? What is the world? Where am
Right.
I going? What am I doing here?
What's happening?
What's happening?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Young and confused. 2 hours.
2 hours
of young and confused music.
Confused music.
Okay.
Should be fun.
Should be.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
We'll check it out
definitely.
tomorrow morning, 9 to 11 a.m. right here on
9 to
KSJE.
11 a.m..
Okay. Very, very good. Next, we also want to put out a plug for our other coworker, Scott Duran. He has a show, the World Beat Show, World Music, that follows Megan's show at 11, so you can have 3 hours of locally curated music.
Yes. And I usually have it on in the background for 3 hours, and it is fun.
Well, you're here for the 2 hours.
I'm here for the 2 hours.
doing your show, and then you go home and listen to Scott's show.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I think I knew what you meant.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So.
Yes.
All right. There you go. Well, we will wrap up our show for this week, but it's always great to see you. We'll
Always
see
good
you
to
next
see
week.
For That's Interesting.
Yeah. That's next week's show. Exactly.
That's right.
That's when you get to call in and share whatever is interesting in your world. We open the phone lines and we invite you to call us and let us know. That is the first, third, and fifth Fridays of the month.
And it is a joy. You will hear all sorts of things.
Yeah, we really run the gamut on that show.
Yeah.
You really can't predict what you're going to hear.
Nope.
No. But it's usually interesting. Mm-hmm. Always interesting.
It's always
It's the
interesting.
name of the show. So, all right. Very good. Well, until next time, everyone, have a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you next time right here on KSJE.